So, today I want to talk about the book Salem's Lot. It was written by Stephen King, and actually it was the only thing that I knew about the book before reading it, that it was written by King. So the only expectations that I had were the usual ones that everyone has before reading one of his books, that it is probably going to be scary and creepy and disgusting, and he did not disappoint in those points at all. After reading Salem's Lot, I can comfortably say that it is probably, for now, my favorite King book. I really enjoyed reading it, and I will keep my review as vague as possible so you can have the same experience as I had by reading it, knowing almost nothing. After that I will go more into detail about the things that I enjoyed or did not enjoy. So we start off with our main character, Ben Myers, or Myers, I'm not sure how you pronounce his name, who moves back into the small town he grew up in, Salem's Lot, to collect some inspiration for his next book that he plans to write. I would say the first 100 pages are the toughest to go through, because while our main character is moving back into his hometown, you meet a lot of people, so there are many names thrown at you and it's sometimes hard to keep up with, but after I got used to it, I really appreciated it, because you got a glimpse into everyone's life in this small town, and Salem's Lot felt more three-dimensional and alive, and it wasn't just a small town. Right after we are introduced to everyone in the city, the main villain steps into action and does his first horrible deed, and after that the amount of awful events just grow exponentially. I really enjoyed this book and would definitely recommend it, but I should warn you that there's heavy violence towards everyone, even children and animals, so if you're a bit squeamish you should maybe avoid this book and Stephen King. Well, not the person, but his books. I think he's probably a really nice guy. I think that's all you need to know about the books. Now I'm going to get more into detail and tell you the things that I liked. So if you still want to read the book, you should maybe stop the video now. The first thing that I want to talk about is the villain. I did not know that this book was going to be about vampires, and the way that King chose to portray them, I really enjoyed it. It was the classic, scary, blood-addicted, manipulative monster. There was nothing charming about them like you see in today's media when they portray vampires, and I really appreciated it. Like, there's almost nothing lovable about those vampires in this book, and that's quite likable in a weird way. So we have the main over 2000-year-old vampire guy and this evil human sidekick who move to Salem's Lot around the same time as our main character, and I really appreciated that there's a slight difference between the old vampire and the people who freshly turned into vampires, because he's far more civilized than the other ones. He's far more intelligent. Everyone that turned freshly are more animal-like, and their goal is to hunt their next prey, and that's it. But even in their thirst for blood, they had to stick to their own rules, like they couldn't go into houses without having the invitation of the homeowner, so they still used their vampire manipulation magic to get easier access to them, to bite them, but I still enjoyed it that they have their own rules that they had to stick to. It made the enemy far more interesting in my opinion, and not just overpowered monsters who have no chance to survive. After the first vampire attack, our main character Ben, his love interest Susan, Father Callahan, Dr. Cody, Matthew the teacher, Mark the 12-year-old boy came together because they were the ones that realized that something is going on. Yeah, they realized that there was a big threat growing in Salem's Lot and they wanted to fight it together. I can easily say that I enjoyed all 6 of them. The only one that was a bit odd was Mark, the 12-year-old boy. I mean, he was just 12 years old and everyone expected so much from him. Everyone expected him to be just like an adult, just like everyone else. He saw so much traumatic stuff. I mean, a lot of blood and deaths, and after that he saw his parents die right in front of him, and I really expected the boy to break at one point and just start crying, but no, he was stronger and he really showed everyone that he is not a usual 12-year-old, which I'm not really a big fan of, but I still enjoyed reading his parts in the book, but I probably would have preferred to see him be a bit more affected by everything. I mean, it's not just a usual day that you wake up and become a vampire hunter. In the end, the only one who survived were Ben, our main character, and Mark, the 12-year-old boy, which I really enjoyed. The only thing that annoyed me was that Susan did not survive. I'm not sure why I would have liked her to survive. Maybe I just wanted to have a small one to see her and Ben be together, but yeah, did not happen, and she died too, and the only ones left over were just Mark and Ben, but still a good choice. I really like that Stephen King killed so many off. It made the threat more threatening. Instead of her surviving at the end, we had a quite brutal death scene where Mark had to kill her at the end because she turned. I liked it a bit, but I would have preferred her to be one of the last survivors next to Ben. Like I said, the death scene was quite brutal, but not even close to the dead baby scene, where the mother didn't want to believe that her baby died and tried to feed him chocolate pudding because he likes it so much. And she just shoves the spoon up his mouth and chocolate pudding just drops out and he's just sitting there and you are watching just a dead baby. It's probably going to take a while before another book can top that level of disgusting. I mean, that was really hard to read. I really enjoyed Salem's Lot and I would definitely recommend it to people who enjoy reading about darker horror vampire stories. And yeah, that's everything that I had to say. And thanks for watching. Ciao.